Hey guys, it's Éva Raposa here from Uncooking101 and the Raw Academy, and I'm pretty excited to be making this video for you. So here's the deal. Just over 12 years ago now, on Valentine's Day 2007, I went all raw. And at the time I had all sorts of health issues. The worst of them was that I had ulcers and I either had gas or trapped gas that I wanted to come out, depending on the day. It was really uncomfortable, really embarrassing. I was in a lot of pain, I was low energy. It was just a lot of not so good stuff. I did a Google search trying to find a natural cure for those things. Found out about raw food, decided to do an experiment, went raw, boom, 3 days later. It was a rough detox in the 3 days, but I got rid of those issues. My skin started to clear up, I started losing weight, my energy went through the roof, and it was amazing to feel all the joy and to feel just everything improving in my life. So since then, I've eaten either high raw or all raw, depending on the period of time, whether I'm traveling, and just depending on what feels right for me at the time. So this video is to show you, to share 12 different tips for you on how to go or stay as raw as you want at any given time. So these are just a mix of tips that I hope will be helpful to you. So the first one is to be prepared. I mean that all around. Be prepared when you're going to a restaurant, when you're traveling, when you're going to be somewhere. Make sure you have good, raw, easy, travel-friendly snack foods with you, and just be ready, be prepared. That's really helpful. Number 2, release shame. So what I've found over the years of helping others with the raw food journey is that there is a lot of shame that can be related to the way that we eat, not just of ourselves, but of other people too. And releasing shame feels like it helps in every way, because shame is not helpful in any way, right? So related to that, choosing to make peace with the way that you eat at any given time can be a huge blessing. So what I mean by that is, if for whatever reason you're choosing to eat high raw or just some raw during a transition or for a period of time, or whatever the situation is, allowing yourself to just completely release shame and to make peace with the non-raw food choices will benefit you so much. I feel like the way that we eat and the way that we feel about the way that we eat, those two things multiply each other together. So say you're eating green smoothie, or drinking green smoothies, I should say, and you know that green smoothies, that you are able to absorb so much more of the nutrition because of the cell walls being broken down, and they're helping your digestive system and all those good things, right? So knowing that and drinking the green smoothies together, it multiplies so that the positive effects are even bigger. But say you're eating bread and you're like, oh, gluten's bad, why am I eating this? Then you might feel even worse than you would if you just made peace with it and was like, all right, I'm eating bread, it is what it is. Right, so that's number 2. Number 3 is to crowd out the junkier foods and to joyfully transition. So you might find that it works for you to just start out with raw breakfast, then add lunch, then add dinner, then go for dessert and snacks. Or you might find that just having so much raw food available and so little junk food available, you end up eating a lot more raw food. And I don't mean like non-raw food necessarily as junk food, but I just mean that in general. Having the raw foods around, not having the junk foods around, boom, boom, boom. So much easier to make the good, positive choices. Number 4, celebrate wellness and all of its benefits. So what I mean by this is that if you're celebrating wellness and you're connecting the way that you eat and the things that you do, the choices, as creating that wellness for you, as helping to support it, and you see all the wonderful things that are happening in your life, the fact that you're able to have the business that you want because you have the energy to build the business, or that you're able to do so many good things because you have the energy, or you're able to stop doing the things that were sucking your energy before, and you connect it with the food, then it makes it easier to continually make those positive choices because you see the benefits. Number 5, stock the kale out of your house with good stuff and zero junk when possible. So in our situation at our house, we actually do not have any junky foods whatsoever. It's almost exclusively raw foods. I don't even know that we have anything cooked at this moment in our house. I don't think that we do. And it really helps because if you're hungry, you look around, the only options are the options that you want to be eating. So it's kind of cool because you'd have to really go out of your way to have something junky in our house. And so I find that it just makes it easier for my daughter and for me and for even my husband to be eating so much more raw food because that's the option, right? Number 6, for during the winter. So right now I'm wintering in Brazil and it's summer here. I know it's like cheating. But there are times that we live in New England during the winter and it gets cold. It's just how it is. And so I do find that I still want to eat either high or raw during those periods. And something that helps me then is to drink a lot of hot liquids so that it makes it easier for me to have the not hot foods. During those time periods, I don't eat super cold, frozen, raw foods, right? I tend to have more like room temperature foods and can even drink 2 or 3 liters a day of hot tea because just having that hot thing helps me to feel warm and it works. I know that hot tea isn't necessarily raw, but I think of myself more as a raw foodist than a raw drinkist, so I have just made peace with that. Number 7, be a raw patron of sorts. So what I mean by that is to find and enjoy raw restaurants, raw snacks, whatever raw stuff you can get. It's really helpful because 1, those places will stay around and be there when you want them. But 2, it's fun to go out to a raw food restaurant. It's fun to indulge in those ways sometimes and to just be part of the experience. Number 8, make friends with a chef that's local, not necessarily at a raw food restaurant, and or find raw friendly hotspots and treats. So there are always going to be restaurants that do not cater to raw foodists, yet have promising items on their menu that can be great for a raw foodie. So I often go on dates with my husband and we'll go and get a pineapple and mint juice. We tell them we don't want ice, we don't want sugar. It's delicious. It's just pineapple and mint and it's great. It's an option anywhere. We'll go get orange juice that's made fresh without the sugar. We'll go get fresh coconut water. There's a lot of different options that, they're simple. It's not a full meal, but it works. And there are also quite a lot of buffets where I can get a lot of vegetables and it's not super filling like if I made a big raw meal, but it works. It totally works to have an enjoyable meal with my husband where we're both satisfied. And as another example, there's a place where we sometimes go that there's a sort of combo deal where you get an omelet with a salad and a juice. And so we go there together and my husband gets the omelet and I get the salad and the juice and it totally works. All right, so that is number 8. Number 9 is to be a raw ambassador of sorts when the timing is right. So if somebody's genuinely interested in raw food, just be excited, be that person who shares and makes a difference in your life. It's so much fun to talk about the benefits of raw food. It's so much fun to talk about raw food recipes. Being a raw food teacher is one of my greatest pleasures because I get to share something that is helping someone to potentially transform their whole life and well-being for forever and ever and ever. It's so cool. Plus, I love raw food. It's changed my own life. So it's great. It helps to also cement how important and helpful it is to eat healthy foods, right? So when you talk with others about it, then you're reminding yourself of how great it is, if that makes sense. All right, so number 10, seek out raw foodie friends and community. I feel like this is so important to just remember that you're not the only one and to have other people around you sometimes who don't think you're at least a little bit Looney Tunes, but totally get it, you know? Number 11, take care of yourself way beyond food. Right? Because it's really challenging, I find, eating raw food if my other relationships or the other parts of my life are toxic. So I've had to, over the years, make sure that the other parts of my life are healthier so that it's in alignment for me to eat raw foods. Because with raw, you feel the feels, right? You feel everything. You know, there's nothing to stuff down those emotions that are toxic. There's nothing to stuff down the feelings you have of unworthiness or whatever, right? Whatever the challenges are, there's no way to stuff them down because carrot sticks are just not going to do it. I mean, you'd have to really have like the junkiest side of raw foods to stuff them. And so it just doesn't work, right? So feeling the feels, having healthy relationships, doing other things that are in alignment, doing the yoga and exercise in general, and just making sure you have a healthy life in general. It's a good thing anyways, right? All right, number 12 is to pre-prep. Know and be ready for your top favorites. So to have some good go-to recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, things like that, just so that you know you've got the ingredients on hand, you know how to do it, you have the equipment that you need to make it, just like you're ready to go, right? So I have a little bonus one, which is to let it be easy, right? Let it be easy. There are ways to complicate raw foods and there are ways to simplify raw foods. For me personally, I prefer it to be simple. So one way I like to make things easy on myself is to pre-blend my smoothies at night. Another way is to have simple, easy to make crackers on hand. It takes me 10 minutes to prep them. Literally all I do is put some flax seeds soaked and some sunflower seeds that have been soaked and rinsed together in a bowl, mix them up and spread them on some trays, and that's it. Those are my crackers most of the time. I don't even add anything to them. And it works, you know, it works. It's something that I can put a dip on, it's something that's crunchy, it satisfies me, it fits the bill, and it's simple enough that even if I've had a long day and I'm only in the kitchen for 15 minutes, if I want to throw it together, have it in the dehydrator so it's ready for tomorrow, boom, I can do it. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope that some of these tips are helpful to you, and I am actually posting this on YouTube, which I don't do often, but I would like to do more of. So if you liked the video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would love to make more videos for you, and I would also love to hear which of these tips feels the most helpful to you personally. So do share that below, and if you have extra tips, do share away. I cannot wait to see them. And that is it for now. I will see you around in some place or another, I hope. And I'm wishing you an amazing rest of your day and everything else. All good things, right? Bye.